Welcome to Wild, Women in Lending Determined to Make an Impact. I'm your host, Robin Lavasser. They say our biggest fear is not that we are inadequate. It's being powerful beyond measure. In this podcast, I will share how to break through imaginary ceilings, lean into success, discovering your purpose, and understanding how to create the business and life of your dreams. From failures to triumphs and all the tactics in between, let's jump into the wild arena together. Welcome back to the Wild Podcast with Robin Lavasser. I love this topic. I once taught a class on stage, and I was like a sub for the class, and it was a class on essentially finding your joy. And I thought, what a funny little class, like teaching people how to find joy, if you will. And when I was asked to come in on it, I was actually replacing somebody that really, they had a family emergency, but they were the epitome of joy. And so I took a step back for a minute, a little unprepared for the class, and I started to really think about the teacher that I was replacing, the coach, if you will, and why I had so much admiration for her. And a huge part of it was actual joy. And so let's talk about joy in business in general. And I want to start with something that I heard and it stuck with me years ago that I hope that it sticks with you. And that is, there is a difference between happiness and joy. Happy is fleeting. Happy is, I just funded a loan. I just got a lead. I'm smiling. I just got an underwriting suspense. I'm madder than heck. And it's not that those emotions can't exist, but joy is a presence that really brings peace. It brings passion. It brings purpose. It does a lot of things when you are truly joyful, and it's deep down inside, right? It's unwavering. And so I think about, I've talked a lot about my mom passing because it was recent. My mom passing brought me sadness, obviously. I was very happy she was here, but my overall love for her comes from a deep place of joy, of all the joy that we shared, right? It's way down there. It's something that things on the surface and day-to-day moments can't touch. And so how do you have it in business? I will tell you, joy in business is built. It is certainly not found. You don't go looking for it. It doesn't show up to you. It's not in a paycheck. It's not in the numbers. It's not in all of these things. And when we're feeling a lot of burnout, a lot of frustration, every day feels like a grind or a disappointment potentially, or just hard, like you have to run at a blood pressure that's, 20 points higher on each score than what it should be. That's not joy. Joy is really being passionate and purposeful in what we're doing. And so how do we find it? How do we build it for ourselves in business directly? One, who do you love to work with? Who do you love to work with? When was the last time you really sat down and said, my ideal? I think it's something that people do, especially nowadays. You can see it with like, what would my husband or wife look like, right? What's my ideal type, if you will? And yet we don't often define in our clients, in our referral partners, in our team members, in our company, who we want to work for and with, and why we want to work for and with them. So there might be different qualities like level of trust that you have, respectfulness, maybe joy, fun, right? Happiness, collaboration, camaraderie, great competition. That can actually be used as a beautiful thing. It doesn't have to be a let me trip you to make sure that you don't win. It can definitely be a let me push you and may the best man, if you will, or woman win at the end of the race, but at least we played and pushed each other in that competition at the highest level. There are a lot of things and qualities. Referral partners are a big one. I can tell you one of the most empowering things I ever did was actually fire a producing referral partner, meaning they were actually sending me business, but it was sucking the joy out of me. And I realized that I needed to cut ties in that space because losing that joy wasn't just in that direct relationship or having to pick up the phone or interact. And what's interesting is I like them as a personal person, but not a professional partner. I was able to describe that and define it for myself and then really let go of that relationship, which I also think they weren't finding joy in either. And the only way to do that, right, was to create enough leads, to have a big enough pipeline, to really define who our clients are, who our realtors are, who we want to work hand in hand with. This is in any sales business in general, because if you're trying to be something to everybody, you will provide yourself needless suffering, right? There won't be a lot of joy in what we do. So building it. who do I enjoy working with and why? Who do I enjoy working with? How do I have more of those conversations with people to really discover who they are, what they enjoy, and are we a fit? And then another piece with people in general is celebrate more. In business in general, and I said this today on a sales call in my office, and everyone's kind of laughing, and I actually despise the word. But let me just say it out loud for a minute. When we stand around and talk to people, or we go share something, when we're mad, we tend to want to get up and go share something faster with somebody than when we are joyful, we are proud, we are passionate, we are purposeful. It's funny, that's actually a trained behavior within ourselves to stop for a minute and say, gosh, do I walk around sharing negativity? Or do I walk around sharing positivity? Do I celebrate the little and the big things? Am I the person that walks through the office, if you will, high-fiving? Am I the referral partner that when I call, people are joyfully answering on the other line because of my joy, right? How does that work? And so the funny little analogy that I do is I always say negativity is such a funny thing because for me, and I raised boys, have a husband, all those things, and I still can't stand the word. It's one of those words that I just like nails on the chalkboard. Negativity and standing around talking with and wanting to share it with all these other people is literally like saying, everybody come here. I'm about to fart and I want everybody to stand here and smell it. We would never do that. We'd never do that. In fact, people think gross. I don't want to. Walk away. Go take care of that yourself, right? Don't do it in front of people. And yet, we don't do that with negativity. We're like, oh yeah, let's all stand around and possibly vent or complain or not solution based. And then there's those different people that feel like they're always joyous. And sometimes people think, oh, they think they're better or they're righteous and those kind of things. No, they're joyful. Figure out why and how. Figure out why and how, because actually celebrating wins, actually having conversations with the people that you do want to work with and blowing things up. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you get pre-approved, like making it a big deal and having fun with it versus, yes, you're pre-approved. Here's the interest rate that potentially would take place. Here's this. And there's no joy in it. There's no fun in it, right? One of the terms that I used to use all the time is happy house hunting, like just a little tiny switch, right? Happy house hunting. Have fun with this because there's a lot of pieces that I can't make all that fun. So let's make what we can fun and we can make fun and what we can celebrate into a bigger deal. What are you contributing to? How often do you reflect yourself? Because this is a big joy builder, if you will. What do you do every single day or every single week that matters? What matters? How many times do people send you something that say, thank you for that? Like, man, you really got me, right? Like I got to go spend a bunch of time up Kennewick, Washington with one of our branches. And I got a message from a few realtors that I was able to stand with after I taught and literally just talk to them and give them some spot coaching. And I got the kindest message. And I thought, not in an egotistical way, but if I were to write something down that day that mattered, I would write like, man, the time that I spent with Amanda, it mattered. So mama with a little girl and really wanting to build a big business. And we got to spend about 10 minutes just digging in for a few minutes and talking. And it mattered. If I don't remember that and 10 other hard things come at me during the day, and I just think, it's just a hard day versus, man, did Amanda and I have this beautiful conversation where it was impactful. It was impactful. It mattered. The hard stuff can matter too. Right? How we decide to say and what we decide to kind of track and reflect on is a really big deal. Share stories, not just stats. I cannot tell you how big this is. We always want to familiarize, especially in lending with an underwriter, we want to make the file more human. And we're really bad in this industry, especially in real estate and in lending, where we just stay stats. I closed 19 this month. I closed 8 million this month. I did this, and it's all very statistical. It's not relationship based. It's not really talking about the stories. And when we don't talk about the stories, it's like we're not giving ourselves our own dopamine hit, if you will, in our own hearts, right? In our own joy tank of, gosh, let's really talk about that. Let's talk about the gratitude that maybe a client had after trying to buy a house for the last 2 years and it finally got done. That might be one of the 9, and it might have been the most impactful, and yet we just lump it all together with, here's the 9 closings that I had, which makes it feel very much about yourself. And I can tell you, joy comes from making things about other people rather than just ourselves. I get sick of myself. I love focusing and being really perceptive, if you will, about other people, engaged with other people. And that is our borrowers, it's our referral partners, it's other people's stories, and then trying to make those impact statements, all of those things. So not just stats, stories for sure. And interesting, you do not have to love every task that you do, but you can understand that the tasks that you're doing are making a difference, hopefully, for the big game that you love, right? The big game that you love. And that's where that joy also comes from. Do your goals fit with your life? That's a really big thing, right? We all know that there's a lot of hard things. I give an analogy of if you're a nurse in oncology, you don't sign up to be an oncology nurse and let every single death potentially ruin your day. And I don't say that because death isn't a big deal. I say it because you sign up for oncology because you have a passion to make an impact on something that matters without being able to control the outcome. And that joy should really shine from you. Imagine being in oncology and having a nurse that had no joy, that was miserable, that was negative, that was frustrated all the time, that was stressed out, that was panicky. No, thank you, right? I don't want to be around that every single day. I wouldn't want them taking care of me in that place. Our clients are already nervous, stressed out, frustrated. Realtors run on high on the general rule of thumb. Somebody has to be the joy pot. Somebody. Is it you? And if it's not, how do you become that? And so your goals aligning with what you're doing every single day, with the work you're doing, and them fitting your life. I hear people say, I don't want to be a top producer, which I'd different podcast, but I would challenge that all day long, because what it's really saying is I don't necessarily believe that I can get there. Therefore, I'm going to dismiss it as if I'd never want it. When your work aligns with your overall values and your goals in life, when you know those things come together, then it literally, your work gets into a rhythm and that joy is there. Hustle for me means nothing at all. Nothing at all if it's not connected to purpose. But I love to hustle. I love to hustle. I will bust my tail in a purposeful manner. And I think sometimes we're just hustling for results, not purpose. And there's a big difference. So if you're lacking joy in your business, I would challenge you to start with a few different tactics, right? Send out a gratitude log each day, if you will. They can call it a gratitude journal. They can call it a write down assessment. Maybe do one for yourself of what you're grateful for, but then send 2 or 3 to other people of why you're grateful for them. The owner of our company, out of the blue the other day, literally sent me a text, and it was just this is why I love working with you. That's it. I'll tell you what, that thing filled my cup for probably months on end. I can go back and read that text. It was just a really, really nice, grateful text. How often do you do that for other people? And I can promise you, when you are feeling anxious, frustrated, burnt out, disheartened, anything like that, bitter, add gratitude. Add gratitude, add gratitude. Joy check-ins. This is where the venting goes away and the negativity goes away. And instead you say to somebody, what are you really enjoying in your role right now? What do you love about the work you're doing? Where do you feel successful? Right? And really dig. Don't just take the surface answer. Really dig and hear something, because I'll tell you what, culture stays safe when joy is part of it and it's being shared, right? That's when you protect culture, through sharing of joy. For sure, bar none. We do a lot of gratitude in our branch, a lot of sharing of joy. And then the other is just re-anchoring your purpose of why you're doing something, and then does your calendar reflect the priority? You don't get to do a lot of it without the lead gen. So know that, hey, I don't love lead gen, but I do it because, man, do I love the next step. I love the next step. If you're lacking joy, find a few things. And remember that joy doesn't always have to be loud, but it is felt. It's a presence. You know, right now you could probably make a list of 10 people that you go, that is a joyful person. And I love being around them. There's something about them, whether it is a calm and quiet, or it is a fun and contagious, whatever it may be. Just be present, be fully there, be in a space where you are determined to make a difference. You're honoring your own passion, your own goals, your own life. And I promise you, there's that saying that work never feels like work, right? When you're doing something you truly, truly love. So find the joy, find the love, and close some loans. If this was helpful, I hope you share it. We'll see you on the next Wild.